Hello and welcome to Sunday morning coffee and games. I'm excited to be here. First off, thank you. Honestly, thank you all so much for the support. I think the first video is at like about 1,000 views at this point, which is insane. Starting this back up again, I didn't know if there would really be a marketplace for it, and I didn't know if I could actually fill that place with it. And it's obvious now that not only is there a marketplace, but at least I can somewhat fill it. And it's truly an honor to do this for you all. And it just the kind words I've received about it has been awesome. So again, thank you all for the support. Thank you for sharing that video. All that fun stuff it really means a lot. So thank you. Also, really important to note, because this was kind of brought up a few times, and I want to clarify this. I don't think I am the most efficient or best player at Marvel Champions. I don't think I'm the most efficient or best deck builder at Marvel Champions. When I show you these videos, these are just my perspective of how I'm doing it. Is there a better way or a more efficient way? Yeah, maybe. Maybe there is. But I just wanted to note that because I did get a bunch of messages or comments saying like, hey, you instead of including this card, you should have done this instead of doing this and that, which is fine, right? You can absolutely send those messages. They don't upset me or anything like that. But I think it's important to note that the reason why I have things the way I do is because one, I have a weird play style and I'm playing into that play style. Two, or I'm trying something new, right? Sometimes I try to mess with my own play style to get better at the game. Three, I'm gearing specifically toward a villain and my personal experiences with that villain that have kind of led me to losses. So I'm gearing up for that. Or four, I'm just kind of messing around. I want to try new things, right? It can usually be somewhere in the middle of those things. And it's not always like an active approach that I take of just like, okay, I'm focusing on this one thing. It's a variety of things. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. So today we are doing Wasp, and we are doing a Wasp deck that I'm kind of excited for. We'll see how it goes. We'll break down the deck. I think it'll be fun. I haven't played Wasp in a little while, so we'll see how this deck does. And then we're going against Red Skull today. Red Skull is a fun experience. I haven't played him in a little while, so hopefully we remember how to and all that fun stuff. But let's jump down to the table. Let's take a look at the deck, and then if you are the type of person that wants to see it on Marvel CDB, the link for it will be in the description, so you can see it there. All right, so here we go. Here's our Wasp deck all laid out. We're playing Justice today. Again, because we're focusing on Red Skull's like side schemes and his main scheme, right? I'm doing Justice, and you'll see the certain cards that are kind of geared toward that. One of the things I want to practice with this deck is to flip down to Alter Ego. I don't do Alter Ego a ton, so I feel like I need a little bit of practice with it. So that's kind of what a part of this deck is feeling that out. So if we go down to the table, there we go. All right, let's start with our basic cards, right? We'll start with our basic cards. So we'll start with our basic ally, which is Ironheart. I like Ironheart. I think she's still good as a blocker, gets the card draw, all that fun stuff. I think that can be strong and useful. X Gonna Give It To You is great for confusing the villain. Again, we can confuse Red Skull, help us get down to Alter Ego mode. I think that'll be super useful. Moon Girl is great. So you can only play her if you're a champion or a genius. Well, luckily, Nadia is a genius. So the idea with Moon Girl is that I would be playing her only on Alter Ego. It's the only way I can play her. And to use all mental resources, which there are a fair amount on this board, to use all the mental resources. So this way, basically, we get Moon Girl for free. Nick Fury, still a good ally, still good to use. We'll use him to help our card draw and all that fun stuff. So basically why we're using him. And then Lockjaw will make more sense in a second. But basically, we have a lot of resources in this deck. Like a lot of resources. Like I'm sure I'm going to get judged for the amount of resources. But when you have that many resources, you put a Lockjaw in there because you can play it from your discard pile. So if you get stuck with a handful of resources, it won't matter, right? Like it'll be completely fine. So that is that. We have our Queen Carrier as our resource generator, right? We are an Avenger, so we can use this to exhaust that. We also have Ingenuity, and I have two of them because I would really like to get Ingenuity in there. I like to get all the resource generators in there. Obviously, you can only have one of the two Ingenuities in there. Why do I have two? Because I really want to play it, and I can only do it on my Alter Ego side, but I think it's a phenomenal resource generator. So we have both of them in there. Do you need to have both Queen Carrier and Ingenuity? Probably not, but I'm going to do it. So I want to mess around with that a bit. And then we have Endurance. I really like Endurance as a card overall. Just to kind of reflect on this a little bit, again, do you need both of them? You probably don't. I want to try to experiment with having multiple resource generators in my deck and on the table maybe to see like if that's a style I really like playing. That's kind of what I'm personally messing around with here. I also have Avengers Mansion because, again, we're going to have a lot of resources. So to get this out there early would be really nice. And then we have all of our doubles, right? So we have our normal doubles, but we also have both of the Power and All of Us cards, which come in the Wasp deck. They're really, really strong. We have a lot of expensive basic gray cards, so it's going to help out with that. All right, so that's everything with basic. And then we have our multitasking. You can switch this out with Clear the Area or something else if you really wanted to, but because we're dealing with side schemes and the main scheme, that's the idea of this card, right? It's all based off of mental resources. You remove 2 threat from a scheme. If you pay for it using a mental resource, which hopefully we have plenty of, remove 2 threat from different schemes. All right, do the side scheme, then the main scheme as well. We also going to be changing forms constantly, so we can use Lay Down the Law, which states, there we go. After you change form, remove 3 threat from a scheme. 4 if you use the mental resource. Again, we have a lot of mental resources, so hopefully we're removing 4. But when you go from Big Wasp to Little Wasp, that is changing form. So we'll be able to trigger that card maybe a fair amount. So, and then we'll do our upgrades. I have 2 under surveillance because I want to make sure that main scheme doesn't pop, because there are times I'm going to have to focus on different things. And we'll get into the Red Skull strategy in a little bit, but I'm going to have to focus on different things. I want to make sure that that main scheme doesn't pop on me, that I'll be all right with it. Beat Cop. There are a bunch of minions in this deck, so it'd be nice to recycle Beat Cops to kind of remove some threat from a scheme and then, take out those minions. We have Counterintelligence, which I really like as a card, as like a soft confuse. And what I mean by that is there are some villains that you can't just straight up confuse because they're stalwart or steady. This is a way that allows you to flip down and remove or stop 3 threat from being put on, which is super useful. It's a really, really good solo card, in my opinion. So we have 2 of these. Again, I'm being overly cautious about flipping down and not letting the main schemes pop. You probably don't have to do this, if you're better at controlling the board state, but I'm not great. So I want to make sure the main scheme does not pop for when I flip down. Okay, so let's get into really fast her cards. Let me just clean these up. So she has her, actually, we'll pop back down to the table. So Biosynthetic Wings is a pretty good card. Gives you the aerial trait. When you take any amount of damage if you're in tiny form, which we should be tiny most of the time, exhaust Biosynthetic Wings, prevent 1 of that damage, which is fine. Her helmet gives you giant form +1 thwart and tiny form +1 attack. Tiny form only has 1 attack, so it brings up to 2 attack. And the Wasp form would add up to 3 threat removal. When we use thwarting, basic thwart power, we can divide our threat removal however we want. So again, dealing with side schemes and whatnot shouldn't be a problem for Wasp because we'll be able to handle it a bunch of different ways. Red Room Training, while you're in giant form, you gain Retaliate, which is cool. In tiny form, you gain Piercing. I can't remember if there's many Tufts in here, but it is a useful card. Wasp Sting is okay. The card states that if you're in giant form, deal 4 damage divided among enemies as you choose. Tiny form, you get to deal 5 damage to a single enemy. There's 2 of them in there. Pinpoint Strike is going to be a massive attack. Deal 7 damage to an enemy. It's 3 for 7. If you're a tiny form, you deal 1 additional damage to the enemy and gains Overkill. We have 3 of those cards. The Overkill is going to be really nice. Rapid Growth, when you use one of your hero's basic powers, change to your giant form and then get +2 for that power, which can be good. Giant Help, remove 3 threat from a scheme, or 4 threat, divide among schemes how you choose if you're in giant form. Then we have our Pin Particles. These are other resource generators. When we're giant form, it'll allow us to heal. When we're in tiny form, it'll allow us to draw cards. There's 2 of them. And then finally, Ant-Man is a 4/2/3 stat line card. If we're in giant form, Ant-Man gains the giant trait and +1 attack. If we're tiny form, he gains thwart. So that is going to be our rough deck, or not our rough deck, that is our deck. As far as what we're going to do for Red Skull today, the goal against him, again, is to control the board state early, get rid of the side schemes, right? I want to clear that out because his attack is solely based off of side schemes, so I want to make sure that they don't come in and interfere too much. So we want to build out with like a resource generator too. Probably get our helmet out because our helmet can be useful, and then just start doing attacks or whatever. My big worry is the sleeper coming in, right? So the sleeper is attached to one of the side schemes. He comes in. He could be kind of difficult, not difficult to beat, but he could be a bit much. So it's 1 for 3 stat line, has guard, retaliate, and toughness. When revealed, the sleeper engages the first player. When defeated, remove him from the game. He only has 5 life. So right, a pinpoint strike can knock him out really easily. But he does have toughness, so we have to pierce through that. He's the one thing that I feel like can kind of slow down your tempo, right? Slow down your progression of your game. So that's why we're kind of focusing on him. Once he's gone, I think we'll be pretty good. I won't have to worry. We'll again, when we get into the game, we'll talk more about. I'm going to time my flips or as best as I can so that once I finish stage 1 of Red Skull, like hopefully stage 2 goes down really fast. So let me finish getting set up and then we'll start playing the game and talk our way through it. All right, so we're all set up. Let me shuffle this up while I talk to you all. So we have Red House in, right? This is the side scheme that comes into play when we create the whole side scheme deck. So that'll be off to the side. That's what I'm shuffling right now is the side scheme deck. So this, it says sit next to the encounter set. I always set it off to the opposite side so I don't like confuse things. I don't know. But anyway, so Red House states that Red Skull cannot take damage. And then when you thwart this, you may use your attack instead if you want to. We probably won't have to worry about that. So Rise of Red Skull main scheme has 8 threat on it. And then it goes up by 1 for each player. Red House has 3 on it, so hopefully we can get rid of that pretty quick. The reason being is because Red Skull's a 2-0-12 stat line. So 12 life isn't too bad. The 2 scheme is a bit much, but the 1 attack, he gets +1 attack for each side scheme in play. So we want to get through these side schemes as quickly as possible, hopefully as quickly as possible. That is our general goal there. Now we start off with 11 life. Nadia gets to draw 6 cards, and both her small and giant form, she gets 5 cards, unlike Ant-Man, who gets 4 in his giant form. Nadia's alter ego action is to shuffle 2 cards with a printed mental resource from your discard pile into your deck. Hopefully that will be super useful to us. We'll see. But that's the idea, is to kind of recycle some of those cards, right, and get those in. So, all right, I think we're all set up, ready to go. Let's play through this. Hopefully we do well. Red Skull can always be a little trickier than people expect. 3, 4, 5, 6. I think people, since he came in the first box, people are like, oh, he's easy now, and he can be tough. So, all right, starting hand. We have Lockjaw, who absolutely gets thrown away. That's his entire purpose in life. Nick Fury, I like a lot, especially with that double. Giant Help, Wasp Sting, I don't think we need. Endurance, I like to be able to heal up more. Sorry, I don't really have those in frame. So, 2, this gets us another card. This gets, I like this setup. I think this is good. Again, we can easily play Nick Fury with a double and 2 other cards. Hopefully we get another double. Be really nice. Then we get to draw 3 cards. Endurance, just to help out our life, which would be nice. We can throw these away because we'll be able to shuffle both of them back in. They both have mental resources. Shuffle them back in the deck. And Lockjaw, like I said, is best played from the discard pile. So 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is use our girl power to shuffle 2 cards with a mental resource back into the deck. So we might as well just do that now. All right, when I look at this, I think what I want to do is actually lay down the law first. I think what we're going to do is go into tiny form. And we're going to play lay down the law. Because it says after you change forms, we can change from alter ego to oh, card just stabbed me. Change from alter ego to hero form. And then if we play lay down the law with pin particles, we can draw another card, right? So I think that's what we're going to do. All right, let's flip up to hero side. After Wasp defeats a minion or side scheme, deal 1 damage to the villain. We'll worry about that later. So we change form. So we're going to play lay down the law, which states that after you change form, remove 3 threat from a scheme. 4 if we use a mental resource. We're going to be using pin particles, which can be used as a mental resource, which will allow us to draw 1 card. So we'll use lay down the law, remove all the threat from Red House. That's taken out, so we don't have to worry about that. And then because we use pin particles, we get to draw a card, which is counterintelligence. I don't know. I don't really care about that. So we're going to use the double strength. We're going to use counterintelligence and rapid growth to play a Nick Fury. We're going to draw 3 cards with his ability. So it's 1, 2, 3. Let's then get endurance into play so we get more life. So I'm going to use pin particles again to play endurance. So our life goes up to 14 because we were at 11. It increases 3. We use pin particles on tiny form, so we get to draw 1 card. So we draw 1 card. Ugh, that's not what I wanted. All right, so what we can do is I think, oh, I forgot to do it. We defeated the side scheme while we were in Wasp form, little Wasp form. So it defeats a minion or side scheme. Deal 1 damage to the villain. We forgot to do that because it is a response. So it happened after the side scheme is defeated. So even though it says like that he can't take damage, right? We got rid of it first, then we responded. Before I forget. I always forget that. Okay, so we're going to use our attack power, but let's throw away multitasking to play rapid growth. So it says when you use one of your heroes' basic powers, throw attack or defense, change to your giant form, and you get +2 for that use. So we're going to change to giant form, where we are swinging for 2, right? And damage you can divide however you want, but there's only one enemy. So he's actually swinging for 4 right now. So we're going to swing for 4, and that's going to bring him down to 7 life. All right, Red Skull's down to 7. And Nick Fury then can can attack for 2, so he's down to 5. We're way more aggressive than I thought we would be already, but that's okay. That's a decent spot to be. So we're going to ready up. Nick's going to ready up. I'm going to hold on to the power of all of us because there's a lot of great cards left over that we haven't touched yet, and I'm hoping we can pay for it with this. So we draw back up. It's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, that's not at all what I thought I would get, but that's completely fine. So we'll deal with that in a little bit. One goes on to here. Our side scheme is Censor the Past. When defeat, each player chooses up to 3 cards in the discard pile and shuffles them back in their deck, which is fine. This comes in with 3 threat, which hopefully we can get rid of. Oh, we can lay down the law of that probably. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. So that will add more on the next time. So now Red Skull's going to attack for 1. Nick Fury is going to block it. So 1 plus 2 more. That's 3 damage. Nick Fury does not make it. And then we get our bad card, which states Hydra Flame Soldier. After Hydra Flame Soldier makes an undefended attack against you, discard a support you control. We obviously don't want that to happen. And he's got 4 life, which we can take that out pretty fast, I think, with Pinpoint Strike. So let's actually do this, right? I think we're gonna do this. So let's first change to small Wasp, right? We're gonna be a little Wasp form, and then we're gonna use the power of all of us to play Lay Down the Law. It's a wild resource, so we can use it as mental to remove threat off of here. So it gets rid of all the threat off of Censor the Past, and then after, on the Censor the Past, each player chooses up to 3 cards in the discard pile and shuffles them into their deck. So let's get Nick Fury back in. Let's get Pin Particle back in. And let's get another Pin Particle back in. We can shuffle those in, which would be nice to kind of just, draw more cards or heal up because we might be taking damage soon. So we can do that. Now, after Wasp or an event, you play... So we have to do the response, right? After Wasp or an event you play defeats a minion or side scheme. We just defeat a side scheme. Deal 1 damage to the villain. So 1 damage to the villain. That's done. So I guess what I'm going to do is play Pinpoint Strike. I think it's actually going to push Red Skull further than I want to be at this point. But we're getting our aggressive cards. See, the problem with this... So the problem is if I play Pinpoint Strike, right, we're going to deal 8 damage on Overkill, which is going to knock out the Hydra Flame Soldier and it's going to bring Red Skull into the next stage. We are not built out at all. This is becoming a much faster paced game. And if this ends up being like the sleeper we draw, Red Skull is going to be swinging for 1, plus we're going to get 2 back. Like, there's going to be a lot of bad things that happen. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do Wasp Sting. I think I'm going to throw away a double to play Wasp Sting and then deal 5 damage to enemy and take this enemy out. Defeating a minion allows us to deal 1 damage. Again, I want to get him close to where we want to be, but not quite there. And I'm going to just thwart for 1 and remove this. I don't know if the sleeper's going to come out, right? There's a shot, right? There's a chance. And it'd be really nice to have Pinpoint Strike already set up to kind of just blow right through him and get him taken care of. It would push Red Skull into the next stage, but that's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. So let's ready up. I'm going to hold on to Pinpoint Strike. Draw our 5 cards. Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5. Ugh, okay. All right, this is rough, but I don't know what I want to do with this hand yet because we can't use Ingenuity unless we flip down. We could flip down if we do Under Surveillance, but we'll see. I don't know. This could be rough. not rough, just it's a weird up in the air playing. Whatever this is going to depend a lot on, or what our strategy is depends a lot on this card, which is prison camps. Okay. Prison camps isn't terrible. That comes in with a when defeated, we get to put an ally on the play. Okay. Let's just take the hit from Red Skull. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 damage. So it brings us down to 11 life. And our bad card is give Red Skull a tough status. Red Skull attacks you. That's sad. All right, so he's tough. And then he's going to attack me for, again, 1, 2, give Red Skull a tough status. Here he is tough, so that doesn't matter. All right, so we're down to 9 life now. I kind of want to flip down. All right, I think what we're going to do is let's flip down. Actually, hold on. First, let's thwart 1 off the main. Keep that down a little bit. Then we're going to flip down. I am going to throw away 2 cards to play Ingenuity because I am now a genius, so I can play this card. And then we're going to use Ingenuity and Queen Carrier to play Under Surveillance onto the main scheme. So that pushes that to 12, which should be hopefully very helpful. And we're going to use her ability to shuffle in 2 mental resource cards. So we're going to do Queen Carrier and Pinpoint Strike. We will shuffle them back into the deck. And then we'll ready up. We'll see how this goes. See if we can get, I don't know, Moon Girl or something. I feel like she should be coming up or whatever. But we'll see. So let's ready up. Draw our 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hopefully the main scheme doesn't pop or anything. Okay, Avengers Mansion. This is not really the hand we wanted, but this will do. This will do. Okay. All right, so 2 goes on to here. The reason being is because of the acceleration icon. Put the second one on there. He's going to scheme for 2 plus nothing. Okay, that worked out well. So that goes up to 2. Shoot. I have to do this first. The Sleeper awakens. Okay. So the scheme cannot leave play. When revealed, put the Sleeper into play engaged with the first player. When the Sleeper is defeated, remove this card from the game. So he comes in. He now has tough. Retaliate. Guard. So we'll have to deal with all that. All right, so now he can scheme for 1, so that brings 1, because he would have come in, because I should have done that first step before, so that's my bad. All right, bad card is, all right, Red Skull gains Retaliate. All right, so we will want to get rid of that at some point, and we have to use 1 of each printed resource, or 1 of each main resource, not the wild, so we'll see. Okay, so there is 2 side schemes in, so he's going to attack for more. We want to get rid of the Sleeper as fast as possible. Okay. So let's take a look at her hand. We can shuffle 2 cards back into Nadia's hand, which could be useful. What I'm thinking is we want to play Pinpoint Strike onto the Sleeper, right? We would like to get rid of him. We can't pierce it, though, so we have to actually physically attack the Sleeper, and then we'll get Retaliate 1, which is fine. So we could use 1, 2, resources 3, 2 cards for Ironheart, right? So I think that's what we'll do. We'll play Ironheart first. I would like to get Avengers Mansion in, but I just don't think it's going to work out. Ironheart could be nice, though, for helping balance things out. All right, so let's do Nadia's thing first. Let's shuffle in our 2 mental resources, because I don't think we've done that yet. We'll do Wasp Sting and Giant Help. No. We'll do Late on the Law and Wasp Sting and shuffle them in. So they are shuffled in. I think we go to Tiny side because, like I said, we want to be able to ping off the damage. So, or ping the tough off. And then my overkill is going to run right into Red Skull's tough, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about that. All right, let's flip up to Little Wasp form. We're going to use 2 cards to play Ironheart to draw a card, because maybe this changes things. It doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to swing 1 to pierce the tough off of this. I get Retaliate for 1, which is fine. I am then going to use Ingenuity and 2 cards to play Pinpoint Strike. This is going to gain Overkill. So it's going to one-shot the Sleeper and go straight into this Tough. So the Tough just gets knocked off, which is fine. We don't get retaliated because we didn't attack him, so we don't do that. But the Sleeper gets knocked out and gets removed from the game. So we don't have to worry about that. This scheme gets put out of the game. Now, we defeated a minion, or thing. So we deal 1 damage. Because our after Wasp defeats a minion or side scheme, deal 1 damage to the villain. We deal 1 damage, he no longer has his Tough. We don't get retaliated because we didn't attack, we just dealt damage. I don't think the side scheme counts because we didn't defeat it, it just got removed from the game, so I don't think we get like a bonus one there. I'm pretty sure we don't anyway. So that's that. 2, 4, 5. Okay, so let's do... Ironheart's going to thwart 1 off of here to keep this down a little bit. And then let's ready up. I think that's fine. We'll draw 5 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason being is because at 2, we're thwarting 2 on the big side, so we can get rid of that. If we get multitasking, that can work really well with this to get this off. Ironheart's going to be a blocker anyway, so a bigger attack I don't mind, but we do need to be cognizant of side schemes are coming in. They're going to start getting rough. So, all right, we got Lay Down the Law, so if we change forms, we can use this and clear out 4 threat from a scheme, which can be really, really huge for us. We also could dump a bunch of cards. Nah, actually, that won't work the way I want. It would be nice to get Ant-Man in there, but he's going to be a little too expensive. All right, we'll figure this out in a second, depending on the side scheme that we get. So 2 goes on to here. So this is at 2, 4, 6, 7 out of 12. New side scheme comes in. It's Mass Chaos. Don't want to see that. So we have to, each player... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Discards the top 5 cards of their deck and places 1 threat here for each icon discard this way. So we have Fist, Fist, Mental, Fist, Mental. So that stinks that we lost a double. We lost our helmet. We lost the multitasking. We lost Professor X. But it's only 2 threat that gets put on. So that's really kind of easily handleable. My priority now is to get rid of both of these, like as soon as possible, especially this one. Because we can get an ally into play, and we can put Nick Fury in. And Nick Fury, we can play... I think when we put him into play, right, we can just draw cards, which would be really nice. So I definitely want to clear that one. Anyway, all right, Red Skull's going to attack. Ironheart's going to block this, so he's attacking for 2, because there's 1, 2. Give the villain a tough status card and another boost. Okay, so he's tough again. Another boost would be Shadow of the Past. At least I don't deal with that. He deals a lot of damage. Knocks out Ironheart. All right, let me just make sure I read that right. And another boost card. Yeah. All right, so bad card is Hydra Flame Soldier. Not ideal. So that's after he makes undefended attack against us. We'll have to discard a support we control. Hopefully we don't get to that point. All right. We are going to have to change form so that we can do Lay Down the Law. Actually, first thing we'll do. 1... Let's actually dump 3 cards in our tiny form. So we're going to dump Pin Particles. We're going to dump Ant-Man. We're going to dump Biosynthetic Wings to do Pinpoint Strike so I can get rid of this. Because we're in tiny form, we'll be able to draw another card, which might be useful to us. So we'll deal that. That overkills onto Red Skull, but it just goes straight into his Tough, which is fine. We get to draw a card, which is another Pinpoint Strike. Don't need that. And then after we defeat the minion, we deal 1 damage to Red Skull. So he's down to 1 now. All right. I am going to change forms up to Big Wasp. In doing so, I'm going to use Ingenuity to play Lay Down the Law, because after you change form, remove 3 threat from the scheme. 4 if you use a mental resource. Hey, we did use a mental resource. You know what? Let's just remove it off of here. It's overkill, but we need to get this done. So prison camps. When defeated, the player who defeated this scheme searches their deck and discard pile for an ally, puts in the play, and shuffles their deck. Nick Fury. After Nick Fury enters play, choose one of the following. Perfect. That's what we want, right? Because we are putting in the play, and he is going to enter play. It is not a when revealed. So Nick Fury is going to come into play, and we're going to get to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Queen Carrier is real nice. Ingenuity we can't use, but that's okay. All right, so what we can do now is use our Gray Double and our Ingenuity to play Queen Carrier. So this way we get another resource generator. Massive, massive. Okay, so Nick is going to then thwart 2 off of Mass Chaos and get rid of that. I feel much better now that like whole side of the board is fine. We're going to hold on to Pinpoint Strike because we're probably going to punch Red Skull in the face again soon. I'm going to thwart 2 to keep this down. I feel really good right now because no matter what comes out, like Nick is going to take the next block. No matter what comes out, we should be able to handle it. Or, right, we can ping a damage with Wasp onto Red Skull. We can then do 8 damage with Pinpoint Strike if we flip back down. Like there's a lot of options we can kind of do here. So I'm feeling good. All right, so we get 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have a lot of attack. Huh. We are in a very interesting situation. All right, we'll worry about that in a second because a lot can change with size schemes and all that fun stuff. So this is 6 out of 12 now. We get to draw our second to last card. Hydra Reinforcements. Comes in with 2. We're going to get 2 bad cards, which stinks. And when defeated, the player who defeats this scheme discards a non-elite minion, which could, oops, not that one. That one. Okay. We still haven't attacked Red Skull, which is good. We're kind of beating him in different ways right now. So Red Skull is going to attack for 1. Nick Fury is going to take the hit, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Ouch. Nick Fury doesn't make it. 2 bad cards now. So the first one is Hail Hydra. Each Hydra minion engaged with a hero makes an attack. Each player who was not attacked this way searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Hydra minion, puts in the play, engage with them, and shuffles the encounter deck. Hold on, wait. Let's look in here. So let's put in Hydra regular. Now we're putting them into play. We're not revealing. So Insight does not happen because he's put into play. So let's put the Hydra minion into play. And really, we can just overkill him to take out Red Skull, but we might do something else instead. We'll see. Oh, and then we get that one. Okay, so this one does work with Insight because he was revealed. So we have 2 minions in there, though. We can use Wasp Sting in giant form and deal 4 damage divided among enemies however I choose. It's pretty solid. That's pretty solid, chat. Okay. So here's my thought. We get rid of the regulars, right? We get rid of the Hydra regulars. So we can knock both of them out with Wasp Sting. Then I actually think we thwart. I want to get rid of this. Or do we thwart? Or actually, okay, maybe this is what we do instead. We thwart this with Wasp, defeat this. It takes out one of the minions, right? Because this states the player who defeats this size scheme discards a non-elite minion. Okay, we can do that. So if we thwart with this, take this out, it defeats one of these. Then, if we're in giant form, we can take out the other one and take out Red Skull. Brings them down to the next Red Skull. Then we drop down the tiny form. Or we can heal with this. Use the rest of the cards for Pinpoint Strike. Deal 8 damage. He's halfway dead. That's my rough thought. We will get Retaliate a little bit, but that might not matter that much. I actually think we do that instead. Okay, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to thwart 2. It removes it off of here. Now, when defeated, the player who defeated this scheme discards a non-elite minion. All right, non-elite minion, discard. Easy peasy. This goes away, so we don't have to draw 2 bad cards, which is nice. I am going to use Ingenuity and Pin Particles to play Wasp Sting. I'm doing Pin Particles right now so I can heal up 2, because we're only at 8 out of 14, so that brings us back up to 10, which should be super useful. Because again, you heal 2 damage from your hero if you're in giant form. Giant form, we can deal a total of 4 damage divided among enemies however you choose. So we'll do 2, and then 2. This knocks him out, so we don't... Oh no, we do get Retaliated, right? I think we still get Retaliated, even though we knocked him out. I think that's one of the things, because the Retaliate stays over, if I remember. And it is an attack. So I think we go down to 9. Rules experts might have to clarify that for me, but I'm pretty sure that still takes place. Okay. So, deal each player an encounter card when revealed. All right, so now he's got 16 life. 16. So now what I'm thinking is we will drop down to Tiny Form, who's exhausted. We have 9 life left, which is still pretty good. We can use Queen Carrier and dump 2. Actually, wait. Yeah, this is what we want to do. Do that. Play Pinpoint Strike, deal 7 damage to your enemy. If you're Tiny Form, deal 1 additional damage, and then gains Overkill. We're going to get Retaliates. Let me just do that before I do the 8 damage, which brings him down to 8 life. Right? He was at 16. That's half his life. Gone. Let's ready up. We still have 8 life left. We're going to get a card. That means we're going to shuffle, so we get an extra bad card. Let me put these off to the side and shuffle this up. We're in a really good spot. One more card's going to come out for the side scheme, and then we get to shuffle that up and whatnot. That should be good. We have 2 resource generators. It'd be nice to get, if we get Pinpoint Strike again, like it's done. Like we've won. So hopefully we get another big attack. If not, I mean, hopefully it doesn't do 8 damage. He's shouldn't. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get some card draw and we can use that too. I don't know. What's interesting about Red Skull is a lot of it is like you kind of have to feel out what the side scheme deck's going to do because you can kind of plan a little bit, but you're never 100% sure. All right, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, cool. So we got Moon Girl. We can't play. Wasp Sting, which doesn't help. We do have multitasking though. What is this? Reveal the top card of the side scheme and put it at play. New World Hydra. We might let it pop. I'll explain why, because we have Moon Girl, which could be a great draw card. We'll see. We'll see. We might pop down. It depends on what happens over here. All right, so one's got to go on to here. So this is 8 out of 12, so it's not going to pop because of this. Hydra Patrol comes in, and when defeated, we have to deal with stuff. Comes in with 2. When defeated, each player searches the deck and discard pile for a Hydra minion puts into play. So let's shuffle up the side scheme deck again. All right, so he's swinging for 2 now. I am going to take this hit. So it's going to be 2 plus nothing. Okay, that's really good. And we have 3 bad cards. This is a really bad lineup of things. I don't like it. All right, guard and a when defeated. So we can't do Red Skull damage. It says a when defeated. That's fine. Okay, there's 2 cards. Okay. Spreading Lies. Place 2 threat on each scheme in play. Oh no. All right, so this is at 10. Oops, that's the right amount though. 2, 4, 6, 8. This is now at 10 out of 12, and then 2 comes onto there. This is getting a little tricky now. This is a little tricky now. This is not at all where we want to be. So here's the thing. I would like to be in giant form for Wasp Sting because I could divide how I want to do things. But the problem is that that's just not going to work realistically. Oh shoot. Okay. Because I want to kind of drop to Alter Ego. Here's my thought. We drop to Alter Ego. We can heal up and make one last push, right? Because if that main scheme pops, it's not the end of the world if we get an attack card. I feel like getting Moon Girl in on Alter Ego side will be beneficial because we can get a lot of draw. So if we kept this way, then we have a resource and we have these cards. We could take out a Hydra Soldier, which is maybe what we do. I don't think the helmet's going to matter as much. Let's do that. Let's use Ingenuity and a Wasp helmet to play Wasp Sting. In doing so, if you're in tiny form, deal 5 damage to an enemy. So we'll get rid of a Hydra Soldier. Now, when defeated, deal each player a encounter card. So we get an encounter card. We defeat the minion, so we get to deal 1 damage to Red Skull. Again, it's not an attack. That's how we can get around guard. Then 2, 3. Yeah, he's going to scheme a lot into that. I think this is fine. So let's go down to Nadia. Let's use Queen Carrier and our Power on All of Us to play Moon Girl. So this is going to be 3 mental resources that we're using. So we get to draw 3 cards. So 1, 2, 3. Ugh, not at all what we wanted. This is actually terrible. Actually terrible. All right, let's heal 3 for 9. We want to use Girl, Power. We'll see in a second. I'm going to Moon Girl. I'm going to Moon Girl damage Hydra Soldier. Because if we get the overkill, we could do more damage. I think that would be beneficial. So maybe that works out. All right, I'm going to throw away Lay Down the Law, Under Surveillance, Multitasking. We don't need. I'm going to hold on to my double. I'm going to use Girl to shuffle in 2 cards. So we'll shuffle in Lay Down the Law and Wasp Sting. Actually, no. We don't want to do that. I take that back. So we're taking out Lay Down the Law and Wasp Sting. The reason being is because I don't want to dilute my deck. I want to get my bigger attack right away. That's the real goal, actually. Okay, I think we're good. So let's ready up. Obviously, this scheme is going to pop, which is fine. We'll figure it out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have Nick Fury, so we can get 3 more cards, which I feel like we'll need to do. Because, again, we're looking for a big attack, and we did not get it here. Actually, we might have enough damage to just win. I take that back. We might just be able to win. Okay, we'll focus on that and see that's actually the case in a second. All right, so 1 goes on to here. We have to put this into play, which is Censor the Past. Thank God it was that and not the other thing that doesn't let you deal damage to Red Skull. And has when defeated. He's going to scheme into the 11 out of 12 now. So he's scheming for 3 exhausted character you control. Well, isn't that a bummer? Let's exhaust. Let's exhaust Moon Girl. So 3 in here pops this. This goes into our discard. And the next one comes in. So when revealed, reveal the top card of the side scheme deck and put it into play. All right, it's not Red House, thank goodness. And this comes in 1. All right, he has a thwart still, but we have to discard 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And okay, not our big attacks, which is good. 1, 2, 3, 4 different resources. So 4 comes in on this. Ouch. All right, he's got scheme 1 onto here. Cool. Then we get our bad card. No advance. No advance. This card gains Surge. Okay, because we're Alter Ego. Toughness, that's fine. We don't care about that. That guy can hang out and do whatever he wants there. Attached to Red Skull. When Red Skull activates, give an additional boost card for each side scheme in play, then discard this card. Ouch. That could be rough. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that. All right, so the plan is simple. Let us now win. I think we can actually win. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pop up, excuse me, to Wasp form. Okay, big old Wasp form. I am going to attack for 2 and defeat Hydra Soldier. Right, when defeated, knocks out, oops, that should go there. Knocks out Hydra Soldier, we deal each player an encounter card. That's fine. So now we don't have to deal with any guards anymore, right? Which is the big thing. So use Ingenuity and Queen Carrier and a double to play Nick Fury. We're going to use Nick Fury's deal 4 damage to an enemy, which is a huge amount right now. Sorry, this doesn't have guard anymore. So we went from 7 down to 3, right? Massive. Then Nick Fury can attack for 2. He's going to get retaliated because of this card. So this brings him down to 1. Then we can do Wasp Sting, dump 2 cards, and in our giant form, deal 4 damage however you choose to defeat it. We can do it so that his 1 goes down to 0. Easy as pie. Thank goodness we got that situated the way that we did, because that was getting a little dicey. To be honest, we could probably survive next round too, because even with extra bad cards, we would have thrown this away. Just hypothetically, if this would have played out a little bit more. Obviously, we're just kind of letting the side schemes go, which, you got to decide if that's best for you. But we would have readied up. Let's see what we've got in our big attack. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, pinpoint strike. We got our big attack there. So just out of curiosity, this would have went up by 1. The next one would have been prison camps. So red house was at the bottom, which is super nice. So prison camps would have come in. That's fine. Actually, this would have went up 2 because I forgot about this one. So that would have went 1 more. That's fine. Hopefully I did that right before. I might have forgotten to put an extra token on somewhere. That might have schemed a little bit more. I don't know. We'll have to look back at that. But still, it would have been 4 out of 11. So I think it would have been okay. And then he would have attacked. Nick Fury would have taken the hit. So it would have been 1. But then when Red Skull activates, give him an additional boost card for each side scheme in play. So it would have been 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Which would have been 1, 2, 3. Exhausted character. If you're in hero form, the villain attacks you after his activation. So we could have exhausted Moon Girl. Would have done a lot of damage. Knocked him out. He would have attacked again for 4 more. We would have just taken the hit. Or 5 more. So it brought us down to 4 life. He would do 2 damage, right? And there are 2 bad cards. I'm just playing this out for fun. It would have been the villain attacks you, and then his Luger. Yeah, we might have actually lost then, because then it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that would have been rough. That was probably our last break. So I think I missed this one time looking back at this. Because I always not think to look at these cards. So that might have been up a little bit faster. But again, I think he schemed for not enough to like pop it. I think it would have been fine. So I think we're good there. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this playthrough. All right, so I had to review the tape, right? I had to see if I actually messed up on the censor the pass thing and didn't put enough on the main scheme. It turns out I did okay. I did okay. I played right, it looks like, unless I missed something else. But that makes me happy at least. But I always get like, I'm sure I'm like everyone else here where, you start getting all these side schemes, you start getting all this stuff on the board, and you start wondering, oh my gosh, am I actually covering everything? Am I not doing everything? Like, don't worry, it happens to all of us. It happens to me all the time. So anyway, luckily I don't think I made too many mistakes, if any. Or I'm sure I made a few, but I'm sure they're very, very small mistakes. But anyway, thank you so much for being here, for watching this video. I really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. This is really cool. Hopefully this stuff is helpful. Hopefully it's interesting. Hopefully it's kind of neat to see a more slowed down game, me explaining things, explain the thought process, all that fun stuff. And hopefully you enjoy it. Do me a huge favor. If you have not hit the like button, hit subscribe. Make sure you do that. Turn on notifications so this way you know when I go live or when new videos come out and all that fun stuff. And speaking of which, if you want to watch me live over on twitch.tv/D20 Woodworking, hit the follow button over there. It's a better live experience. It's more interactive. It's kind of fun. But it's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, this has been a really great series so far. It's been a lot of fun. It's been really enjoyable. So hopefully we'll keep continuing. I can't promise it every single week, but we were able to do it again for this week, which is pretty cool. So if you have certain suggestions that you want me to see me play, let me know either in the comments or on Discord or something. I'll be definitely happy to check that out. So anyway, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this today. I really do appreciate it. See you all next time.